Hello, and welcome to Bad Dog Comedy TV and Our Next Guest. As you well know, Our Next Guest is an entirely improvised interview program in which neither the guest nor the host know what the topic will be until the moment it appears on screen. Our guest will of course be an expert on that subject, even if they have never heard of it before. Now, without further ado, our host, Liz Johnston.
Oh, you caught me on a photo page. I can't say how important photography can be in creating a novel or a work of nonfiction. I think that
Miss Johnson?
Yeah, you can just, yes. We
Uh,
are live.
it's okay, I'll take this out later.
What do you mean take this out?
I'm so sorry I forgot your water.
There's nothing. What was this going to be?
I got you some
You thought
water.
I would just like to have a glass to gesture with?
Well,
We
no,
are live.
I brought you more water.
Right.
You know when you
What
yell,
I-
fix it? I'm fixing it.
Okay. What I wanted to say today, as we engage with more and more media, which can be found online, we go to the cineplexes, the multiplexes.
Oh, no!
Holy hell! Jupiter's beard! Get out! Get back behind your little booth! Go! Hopefully there will be a way to fix this in post. Excuse me. Hot. I wanted to. I had a lot to say about the written word, but I think already my time has been eaten into by shenanigans and hoodwinking. So I would like instead to move on to not one guest, but two. We rarely have more than one person join us on this show, and it would be remiss of me not to say that the only person, or one of the only people that I would do this for, is Dr. Tova Friedman. Dr. Tova Friedman, I'm sure the name is household at this point, but she is joined today, I'm told, by her research assistant, Bernard Flynn. Welcome, Tova and Bernard. Welcome to the show and our next guest.
Thank you, Liz. We're very happy to be here.
Elizabeth. You know, what I wanted to say, Tova, first of all, I have been a fan.
I mean, for correcting me.
You know what? Absolutely right. You're absolutely right. Now, I think somewhere in here, I have about 8 copies of your works. Dr. Friedman, you have been momentous. You have been, you know, a giant in your field for so long.
Some people say a dinosaur. I mean,
Oh, no. You are a spring chicken is what you are.
that's what he says.
And you are joined today. This is your research assistant, I take it?
Research assistant, life partner,
You know, I wasn't.
sounding board, everything.
Oh my goodness! And it's Robert Flynn. Is that right?
No, I mean, if we are correcting one another, it's Bernard Flynn.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm so sorry, Bernie.
It's Bernard. Leave the Bernie for Sanders. That's what I say.
Yes, sure thing. Okay, so tell me what. So Bernard Fluff, what exactly is it that you have been working on with Dr. Friedman? Sorry, I should top and say, of course, you're known around the world, but for those who might not be familiar with your work, what rock have they been hiding under? You are obviously the premier academics in the field of computer viruses.
That's right.
That's correct.
And,
also
you know,
known as viral infections.
Yes.
Within
Right.
the digital sphere.
Yes. Not to get
Right.
yes.
I know we're hopping into jargon right away.
Yes,
I don't want
exactly.
to I don't want to scare off our viewers at home.
Some people say potato, potato.
But we say computer and virus. Yes.
Of course. Well, if I could just talk more to Dr. Freeman for a moment. Dr. Freeman, you have, of course, okay, Thank you, Kenny. In the field of computer viral infections within the digital sphere. Now, when we talk about the digital sphere, you have been working in that realm, in that sphere, since the late 70s.
Yes.
So you have seen the way, that computers have evolved alongside humankind. Obviously, virology in humans is such a field, but there's very few that have studied viruses in computers. How did it start? What was the first? What was the first virus?
The first virus...
I'm just wondering because, Can
you hear me?
Yes, forgive me. I have to say I am so much a fan that I find myself, I am tripping over my own tongue.
Oh, that's all right.
Does someone have a virus in their mouth?
Sounds like it. The first virus, unfortunately, started with my mother. She was very ill from tuberculosis. She passed away from TB.
Yes.
And I started becoming fascinated with the spread of infections. And, it was at the rise of computers. And so I started becoming fascinated with computers as well. And viruses in humans spread very similarly as they do in computers. So...
Really?
Yeah. And my mom loved her calculator. She wasn't around for computers, but she loved her calculator.
Yes.
So I thought it was a natural transition to work to stop the spread of viruses within the digital sphere.
And you have, it's referenced several times in several of your own works, but obviously, the Nobel Prize, so much, you were so highly lauded for, there it is. There it is.
Yes. Whoops.
On your desk.
Oopsies.
I just flew in.
Yes.
But it is honestly, it's incredible to see. I wish I could hold it in my hand one day, maybe when we could meet in person. But I'm just so in awe of what you were able to do in the 1996 outbreak of the original Trojan horse virus, and you were able to put a stop to it. Can you tell us a little bit about how that worked?
Absolutely. Bernard, do you want to start off?
Absolutely. Oh, yes. So
Bernard.
the Trojan. Yeah, Bernard, that's the...
Bernard, you're new to the field, or have you been working just as long as Dr. Friedman?
He might be new, but he is an expert.
Oh, you really, how someone says when you have a new pet, you start to look more and more alike.
Yes, well, I mean, that is part of the magic. That is computer virology. You see, I've always studied computers, while growing up. One might say my only friend was Peter Chapman, abbreviation PC. That's what I called my computer. And yeah, so computers is all I've known. And
sorry, your only friend growing up was a computer.
That's right. Yes, I mean it's not so bad when you name them. Peter, I call
Peter
my PC.
Peter Chipman.
Peter Chapman, please.
Peter
Yes.
Peter Chapman.
Peter
wow.
Chapman. Yes.
Peter Chapman.
Peter
That's
Chapman.
so Peter Chapman. So that really, I mean, I'm sorry to divert here, Tova, but so Bernard, was the study of computers, it was more personal for you then?
It was quite personal. It was when I say the only friend, it was the only sibling my parents could give me. For after they had me, they decided to stop. So yes, computer is all I knew. So, I mean, was it a personal journey? Has it always been a personal journey? Yes, you could say. I mean, and it's a beautiful one because it led me to the wonderful Dr. Tova. A journey filled with viruses and having to overcome viruses and the yearning and learning to learn about computer viruses led me to Tova. So yes. I think it's both a beautiful and personal journey.
We also had to deal with syphilis at one point, but it's
human syphilis.
Yes.
Yes.
Good. What I did wonder, though, of course, is I want to revisit the Trojan horse conversation that we were having.
Oh, well, it ties in with that because syphilis happened because someone didn't wear a Trojan horse.
All right, okay. You know what, you two? I have to be completely honest.
Talk to me.
I'm finding myself fascinated by not only the work you've been doing, Dr. Friedman, but this relationship, is one that interests me. Because when I first saw you, and I hope you'll forgive me for saying this, Bernard, but I thought, oh, here comes another, here comes another Nobel digger. Here comes somebody who is,
okay.
and
Right.
I apologize for making those kind of assumptions, but we see this all the time in the field. We see these young upstart male scientists or doctors who find their way into the beds of powerful thinkers, and from there they pull the strings. And I have to say, being such a fan of Dr. Friedman, I felt myself, I felt myself, suddenly clench, and I was nervous and protective in a way I have no right to be. We have no real personal relationship, Dr. Friedman. You've been on the show a few times.
Yes.
But I'm trying now to re-engage myself with, a much more open version of my own mind. And so I have to apologize to you, Bernard, because I recognize that this is much more a personal journey for you. And the two of you, your relationship, whilst uncomfortable on camera, is powerful, is moving.
Yes.
And I want audiences to know that he's on a tight allowance. He's not after my money, so
No.
that's for sure.
That's right.
Sorry, he is solely in your employ, though.
Yes, he really encourages me. He's a sounding board for all our viral work and
Yes.
I mean, if I may interject, I mean, how can one be a Nobel digger when one has already dug? That's right.
Oh,
The
my
recipient-
goodness.
Yes.
And that award is...
the Tim Sims Encouragement Fund.
That's right. You see, I was discovered in a
Excuse
showcase.
me, a
Yes?
tickle in my...
It's going around. You have to be careful.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
really
yeah.
do. And I'll take it from a virologist like you.
Yeah, I
That's
know.
right. That's right. So you see-
Congratulations on your award as well as the Nobel. Tell you what, though, we have gotten far afield, and I really want to bring it back, and I want our audience to be able to dig into some questions with you, and I want to be able to talk about this. It is authored by both of you, which is, I believe, the first time, Dr. Freeman, you have co-authored something. Is that correct?
Yes. Sometimes I'm missing the words, and he's the one that
completes her words.
So
You see? Yes.
I do. He's the one that completes the words, which is so beautiful. Now, I have a couple of chapters here that really were powerful historically to me, because I wasn't even aware of what had happened in 2004. I wasn't even aware.
Yes.
But I believe we have the chapter here. Kenny, would you throw this one up? Chapter 10, of course, how the large-scale manufacture of plastic watering cans led to the current digital virology landscape. Now... Yes. So tell me, when we started seeing that kind of watering can scandal, what happened in the world of computers?
Yes. So what happened is the production of the watering cans created all this extra plastic in the environment. That extra plastic was then sourced by the computer chip makers. Now, this plastic was not good plastic.
No.
It contained various diseases, okay?
The plastic itself did.
The plastic itself
Yes.
was contaminated, led to viral contamination now within the computers, okay? And we had to source them in each of these computers around the world and find a digital cure. That's right. We took the DNA sampling of all these chips.
Yeah.
Have you heard of CRISPR?
Have you heard CRISPR?
CRISPR.
She's saying CRISPR.
Christ.
CRISPR. It's an acronym.
For a freezer.
No.
There it is. Do you see it?
Oh.
CRISPR.
Thank
CRISPR.
you, Kenny.
Thank you, Kenny.
Yes.
Out of water.
Thank you, Kenny.
Still wet a bit. Oh, there it is again. Sorry, CRISPR stands for.
So CRISPR basically cuts out the bad DNA. It goes like this.
Yes, it cuts it out. So CRISPR, it's an acronym. So what it does, it cuts around inside the specs, PCs. Right.
Really good.
Really good. So that's a CRISPR.
Oh, so you were instrumental in creating the CRISPR that was able to
Exactly. We
deal
got
with the
rid of
carcinogenics
all
in the
the
plastic.
infected chips.
That's
Yes.
incredible. That
Yeah.
really is. And I'm not even done that chapter, so that's beautiful. I wanted
right.
to go back
Please
to chapter.
continue reading.
I will. I'll tell you what, your publisher just got this book to me this morning, okay? And
I'm going to get on the phone with her right now. I'm sorry.
That's all right. No,
That
no,
is
no.
very unprofessional.
No,
I'm
no,
getting
no.
her on the phone.
I think it was a delay from the printer. No, please.
Listen,
Please.
call.
Oh,
I got fine. I'll hang up.
no, go ahead and hang up. Please don't get Susan in trouble.
I'll text her later.
Okay, so but I wanted to go back to this to chapter 2 because I believe, Bernard, this one is one that you wrote entirely on your own.
That's correct. I mean, also a little known fact, we did write the book like that scene from Ghost. She was right behind me. I was in front. The computer was the clay pot. And so, yes, if you can
Like
picture,
that.
yes. Yeah. So one hand over the other.
I understand. Yes. No, beautiful.
Beautiful.
So chapter 2, of course, is computer doctors from zeros and ones to heroes and guns.
That's right.
So you advocated a violent action against those who would create computer viruses. Can you speak to that a little bit?
Absolutely. I mean, it goes in the title itself, right? You see zeros and ones, though that's binary code. And from Heroes and Guns, that is quite violent. So I always had a mantra, people, while growing up, as I said, I was quite the lonely kid. People would make fun of me for having Peter Chapman as my only friend. Make fun of me talking about 001, ones and zeros, binary code. And I made a promise to myself that I'm going to go from binary code to violently bro. And so, in order to make a statement,
Yes.
and so, people don't tend to listen, when you go 1 to 0, 1 to 0, but people listen when you go bang bang into the air. That's all, because you don't make a lot of sound when speaking binary, but when you're speaking violently, people listen.
That's when people listen. And it's so tough these days when the world is already engaging in. Different acts of violence on itself at all times. How do we quantify that in the digital sphere? And so I really thought your words were powerful. I believe I have a couple of questions from our audience, if that's all right, the
Tremendous.
two of you.
I would love
Dr.
that.
Friedman, I
Yes.
believe the first question might be for you.
Ooh.
But this is from a young boy who has, been watching our show religiously. He's 6 or 7, I think. And he asks, what advice would you give a young boy looking to do what you do when I grow up? So he's been into computers, apparently, his mother says, and he would love to just dig into code and break down viruses. How does he start?
I think he starts with COVID and trying to figure that out. If he could figure that out, it's a real leg up.
Because you know what I'm finding so powerful about this is your work has dealt with some computer viruses, to be sure, but moreover, you are dealing with how computers can stop real viruses.
Exactly.
And so I think that is powerful to say, why not tackle the virus that's right in front of us how can we digitally enact violence against COVID?
If I may, I mean, this young boy sounds like me, so if I could also encourage him to maybe approach maybe a professor of such that, that he may admire. He needs to really just take the plunge and, and approach them and really just try to capture their attention. Maybe he could approach a professor who's into antivirus and just, ask her, ooh, is there an uncle virus? And that's a good in. That's a very good in for professors of antivirus.
You're advocating that this 6 or 7 year old child find an in with the professor.
Well, this is addressing the last part of the question when he says, when I grow up. So when he
so when he's legally able,
proper age, yes.
Yes.
And does it respectfully, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe fix this in post.
Okay. We have a second question and probably our last.
But we're having so much fun. These are our plans for tonight.
Yes.
Of course. What is that? Is that a bounty
Just
bar?
a little treat.
Just a little treat. Yeah,
us.
it's our favorite treat.
You don't need to eat that on camera. Oh, holy.
Yeah.
Another question here. This one's for Bernard. What do you do when your older boss doesn't respect you even though you make the workplace good? Kenny? Who did this question come from?
You know what? I have a great therapist.
Kenny, it didn't come from CRISPR. It didn't. Sorry, you have a great therapist, did you say?
Yeah, if you want to work out the problems with you and Kenny. It's a call.
Kenny and I aren't having problems, okay? Kenny and I are having spills. It's a professional relationship.
Just like this.
Well, you know what, you two? I want to say a big thank you for coming on the show. We do have to wrap it up pretty soon. Of course, I do want to make sure that we do get a chance to promote the book. Would you give a chance? Would you tell everyone what the new title is of your new book? Please,
Yes,
please.
Of course.
Yes. You can't spell virus
Without a big V.
V.
You can't spell virus without a big V. That's
V.
for sure. And where did the title come from?
The bedroom.
Bedroom.
And I really was moved by the cover art for the book. Can you speak a little bit to why you chose what you chose?
Absolutely. I guess I laid down on a bed and I said, draw me like one of your French girls.
And that's where we got what we got.
Were you inspired?
To be honest, I wasn't sure what it was, but now I am.
I may just turn it sideways.
You know what?
Do you see it now?
I do.
Yes.
I do see it now.
Ta-da.
Thank you so much for being on the show. There it is, sideways.
There it is. That's sideways, yeah.
I do understand it now.
Yes.
This book is incredible. As I said,
I'm calling Susan right now.
Don't
right
call
after we
Susan.
get-
Please
I'm
don't call
getting on the
Susan.
phone. She's going to send you an extra one for Christmas.
Once again, I wanted to thank you for coming on. I have been confused sexually, emotionally, and intellectually, but I have enjoyed every minute of it. And I will be asking for the name of that therapist. Okay. Congratulations.
Good night to one and all.
Yes.
Yeah. Nice to see the Nobel and Tim Sims together again. All right. Thank you so much. Certainly one of our more raucous shows this evening. Thank you so much for joining us. And for those of you who have asked questions, this was, I think, I can still hear some of our guests. But as always, it has been my pleasure and my honor. Make sure that you get a copy of You Can't Spell Virus Without a Big V, available in somewhere, surely. And thank you so much for watching. We'll be back again next Thursday, 7 p.m. Bad Dog Comedy Theatre on YouTube, our current home. And please make sure that you take time to donate to that organization where you can, to keep this level of programming on the air. And tell your friends, your family, and stay safe out there. Kenny.